In this activity, we'll be creating a program that utilizes slices and slice patterns. Once you're ready, load up Visual Studio Code and we'll get started. Once Visual Studio Code loads, navigate to your Activities directory. We are on Activity 36, so double-click on a36.rs. Once the activity file loads, review the topic and program requirements. Attempt to implement a solution on your own with the video paused. Once completed, resume the video and I will demonstrate my implementation as well as provide insights to the activity topic. All right, let's get started. This activity is on arrays and slices. Our requirements are to print pairs of numbers and their sums as they are streamed from a data source. If only one number is received, then print unpaired value with v as the value. If no numbers are received, print data stream complete. We have some notes. A simulated data stream is already configured in the code, and we should take a look at the standard library docs at the chunks method on slice for more information about how the chunks method works. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take a look at the stream variable. We have a code comment here, and it indicates that stream is an iterator of option, and within the option, we have a slice that contains 64-bit unsigned integers. The chunks method here creates slices, and each slice will have 2 elements. And since it's an iterator, we can iterate over 2-element slices. So I'll create a for loop. So we'll have for chunk in stream. Then we'll call a function. I'm going to name my function process chunk, and we'll just pass in the chunk. Now I'm going to implement that function. So we'll call it process chunk. And it's going to take some data, and the data will be a slice containing unsigned 64-bit integers. In my function, I'm going to match on the data. So we need to sum up the numbers. So we're going to get pairs of numbers, and we have to get their sums. So if we go back down to the function, we'll have a left-hand side and a right-hand side. And so we'll sum those up. We'll do it in a print line, and we'll print out left-hand side plus right-hand side equals result. So we'll have left-hand side, right-hand side, and then we'll just add them together. And that'll be it for matching on 2 values. Now, if we get a single value, we'll need to print out a different message that indicates the value is unpaired. So I'll make a variable named single, and we'll just print out unpaired value. And then we'll have what the value actually is. And then once we run out of values, so we're going to sum all the numbers, and then once we have an empty chunk, then we're going to print out data stream complete. The last thing we'll need to do is have a catch-all for everything else, and we'll have an unreachable macro. Unreachable just indicates to Rust that this code should never get executed. So we'll have a message, chunk size should be at most 2. So this would actually be a logic error. So if we have some data and the chunk size is more than just 2 elements, so if we were to go down here and change this to a 3, then this will get triggered and the code will panic and the program will terminate. Let's run this code and see if it works as expected. To run the code, we'll need a terminal. So go up to Terminal, click on New Terminal. We're on Activity 36, so we'll do cargo run --bin A36. And so now we'll have our results here. We have 5 plus 5 is 10, 4 plus 4 is 8, and 3 plus 3 is 6, and an unpaired value of 1. Let's go back to our data and confirm that this is the case. So we should have 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 1. And as we can see in our data, we have 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 1. So our program works as expected. Before we finish up, let's walk through the program. The first thing we do is we take our existing data. So the data is located up here, and it's a slice of numbers. We take that slice and we break it into 2-element chunks. We then go through each chunk, and then we process that chunk. In our process chunk function, we accept the chunk, which is a slice, and then we match on it. So if that chunk has 2 elements, which it should, then we'll just print out the left side and right side along with the result, and that gets printed out. If the chunk has 1 element, then we print out unpaired value. So the second arm would occur if we have an odd number of values in the array. This third match arm would indicate that we ran out of values completely. So if we have an even number of values, then this third match arm will trigger because we'll get an empty slice as part of the chunks. And then the last match arm is there for the exhaustive match pattern. And that's going to actually terminate the program if it gets executed, because our data size here, it should always be either 2, 1, or an empty slice. So if we get a slice that has like 10 elements in it, then this will trigger and the code will terminate. This concludes the activity on slices and slice patterns. I'll see you in the next presentation.